I had a few questions today about rearing caterpillars for classroom and homeschooling observation settings. And I thought I would take you along with me today as I clean out my caterpillar cages and talk to you about different ways that you can rear caterpillars. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Della from The Beauty of Play. I'm a marine biologist turned homeschool mom. I've been homeschooling for roughly 16 years now. I have a middle schooler and one in college, and now I write math guides, some main lesson guides, and host 2 coaching subscriptions, one for homeschooling and one for math. And they're open for enrollment right now until May, and then they won't open for enrollment again until November. So the biggest question on the social media today when I was showing my caterpillars was, how do I go beyond painted ladies? If you're not familiar, you can mail order or order on the internet painted lady butterflies that you can rear on your own. They come in a little quart size cup. All the food and stuff is supplied at the bottom, and then they crawl up the sides of the cup and make a chrysalis on paper that is at the top of the cup, so you can watch that process happen. I had people asking me how to rear butterflies beyond that painted lady. And I do love painted ladies. I have reared them once, way back in our early years of homeschooling. And then I have reared them in the wild because they are endemic to our area and most of North America, which is why they are commercially sold in the United States. I live on the eastern side of the United States in North Florida along the Gulf of Mexico, and most of the eastern United States or North America is going to have a basic general commonality in their ecosystems. And so even if we don't have the exact same butterfly, chances are there's like a northern version of the same kind of butterfly. For instance, we have cloudless sulfurs here. The north might not have cloudless sulfurs. I'm not sure of their distribution range, but they would definitely have some other kind of sulfur. But when I was doing a drop for my subscription about classroom observation activities, where butterfly was one of them, I realized with people writing back that if you are beyond the Appalachians to the west, you have a very different ecosystem. And I think if you're far west over on the western coast, you probably have a higher variety of butterflies. But if you are in the desert area, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, that kind of area, it might be a little harder to do some of the things that I'm talking about. But you probably do have some endemic butterfly species, maybe just fewer of them. My first suggestion is to visit your local nursery that's caterpillar friendly, meaning they have a host of butterfly plants. They aren't spraying their plants with pesticides, and maybe even they're giving away caterpillars. We have a local nursery in our area that's very niche that sells native plants, and they actually give caterpillars each year away promotionally with their plants. so that you can rear them. They also have little cages that they build and sell and so forth. So if you can find a nursery like that, or at least a nursery that's not spraying their plants with pesticides, that is a good way to find caterpillars. They are happy to give you the insects that are eating their plants. If you can find the right nursery, they will know about butterfly host plants and will be able to help set you up with finding a plant, and hopefully will give you some caterpillars to go with that. And this is one of the best options because you can buy a butterfly netting that you will see in my video that I'm using for the black swallowtails, and unzip that, place the entire plant in to the netting, and just observe the life cycle without really having to do much more than make sure that your plant has water. Another option would be to speak to your local state park or local park or refuge in general. They may have rangers that know a lot about the butterflies and host plants in the area, or they may know other people that do and may be able to set you up with programs where you can learn about those host plants and butterflies and how to attract them and look for them. There are several local to us, and there is even a volunteer tagging program for the Monarch Project where you can volunteer to get up early in the morning and go gather monarchs and tag them and release them before their trip to Mexico. That happens in the fall around October here. Once you have an idea of the butterflies endemic to your area and the host plants that they eat upon, which are usually pretty specific for butterflies, moths are a little more varied in their diet and usually eat one or two or more plants. But a butterfly is usually pretty specific on which plants they use. It's only like one or two, three tops for most butterflies. You can start inspecting those host plants to see if you can find the butterfly larva. I have had a lot of success with this over the years. Some of them are really easy, like black swallowtails. They eat in the carrot family, including fennel. So when I plant fennel in my herb garden, I often get black swallowtails that lay eggs on my fennel, and I can use that to rear the black swallowtails. This year, instead of rearing them, I just took one of my netted butterfly enclosures and placed it on top of it so that my songbirds, which we have plenty of, didn't eat my black swallowtail caterpillars, or not as many. The challenge of this method is twofold. One, you have to find the caterpillars, and some are easier seen than others. I have seen a wide variety of caterpillars in the wild. Some of them that are endemic to our area, such as the tiger swallowtail that usually eats magnolias, I have not ever been able to find their larvae. So it's kind of hit or miss. The other thing about this method is that you have to be able to take cuttings on a regular basis of the host plant. So you have to know where that host plant is and have a decent supply of it to feed your caterpillars. the advantage of using this method is the opportunity to really engage in nature study with your kids, nature walks, nature journaling. You can buy a guidebook for your local area. I'll share my favorite one for the Eastern United States. And you can go look for caterpillars, all kinds of caterpillars. The guidebook will tell you whether or not it's a moth or a butterfly. In general, butterflies are a little easier to rear. Some are easier than others. One of the things that you do want to be careful of when you're rearing butterflies, especially from the wild, is that you want to disturb them as little as possible, especially if they wander off the plant into another area of your observation tank or netting, because some species actually anchor themselves to the side of the enclosure or a branch to crawl out of their skin, and they're not able to crawl out if they are detached from that area or disturbed, which will kill them. My last suggestion is to check out your local pet shop. They carry a variety of different larvae that are used to feed amphibians and other pets that you can rear. They're not likely to be the typical butterflies, but I know they sell hornworms that have turned into sphinx moths, and they may have other larvae that you can grow as well. Thanks so much for watching and viewing the video. Be sure to like it if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content, and share it with a friend. Until next time, happy homeschooling.